Hello, my name is Benjamin Hart. I'm an American attorney and the managing director of Integrity Legal here in Bangkok, Thailand. As the title of this video suggests, we're discussing land transfers in Bangkok, and we're discussing, apparently there's been a drop in the number of land transfers occurring in Bangkok. In a recent article from the Bangkok Post, it's bangkokpost.com, article is titled Bangkok Land Price Index Drops 2.2% in First Quarter. Quoting directly, Wichai Wiratkapan, REICs, and REIC stands for Real Estate Information Center. So, quoting directly, REIC's Acting Director General said the quarterly decrease in the land price index in Greater Bangkok in the first quarter of 2021 followed a year-on-year decline of 13.3% in the number of land transfers in the fourth quarter of 2020. Now, for those who are unaware, for those who come from sort of a common law background or the Americans watching, the land office is sort of akin to a registrar of deeds back in the U.S. And oftentimes we would see this in a courthouse, usually in the U.S., depending on your jurisdiction. That may be a little different from state to state, but it's sort of akin to the registrar of deeds. And the land office, it's, in my opinion, well, for them, their record keeping is a bit more precise in certain ways than the way deed recordations are done in certain jurisdictions in the U.S. For example, much more difficult in Thailand, in my opinion, to have what I would call wild title or wild deed out there floating around than it is. Now, it's kind of unlikely in the modern era, especially with digitization back in the States, but it still can happen depending on circumstances, especially as certain kind of warranty deeds and quitclaim deeds can sometimes be done well, they may not necessarily, depending on the circumstances, it can be done sort of bilaterally between two people, and so you may not necessarily know that that transaction is out there, or at least there may be a little bit of a delay from the time that you know. Sort of veering back to the point of this, the land offices in Thailand have a pretty good idea what's going on, most notably because they collect transfer fees. There's a transfer fee associated oftentimes with the transfer of real property in Thailand from one person or entity to another person or entity. So for this reason, they've got pretty meticulous records. So to see a drop-off of 13.3% in the numbers of land transfers here in Bangkok, that's pretty substantial. And as I've noted in other videos, I think we're definitely in a buyer's market right now, at least up here in Bangkok, although I'd say throughout Thailand, probably the property market has a lot of bargains in it. And those who are interested in purchasing property or living in Thailand in a more general sense might be a good time to be looking at purchasing property now. Now down the road, things could still remain the same or even get a little worse, and it could become more advantageous buying later. I'm not making any recommendations one way or the other, but I definitely will say, compared to 14 months ago, it's definitely much more of a buyer's market than it was then.